Southside. Can't get enough.
Hello world, another episode of Bloghoggers. Kind of revamped the site a little bit, and our Twitter page is now up, so follow us on @Bloghoggers. And this is Nelson.
John, what's up, guys?
And we're going to talk to you guys about a wide range of topics, including Tiger Woods, college football, and the NBA. So, John, why don't you start it off first?
Tiger Woods, Sunday, he won for the first time, I think it was since 2009, since he had all those incidents with women. But I think this is a good sign for his future. I mean, I think everybody in the PGA should be worried that, he is back because he looked pumped. I don't know if you saw the clip or anything. You should go YouTube or something like that, but he looked pumped.
I mean, Tiger Woods, he's off to a good start and trying to rejuvenate his career. He also clinched the final in the President's Cup a couple weeks ago, and that was the international versus the United States teams in match play round. So, Tiger's been heating up a little bit, and what people really want to see is how he will compete in the Masters, in the major tournaments as well, PGA tournament, U.S. Open, and the British Open. But if he can win these competitive tournaments leading up to those majors, people are going to be scared.
And I think what you're going to see is if he keeps winning, is he's going to have like a similar effect that Michael Vick had when he came back. Nike had dropped him previously, and then he got back his endorsement deals and things like that. So I'm not saying that he'll get back to where he once was as far as his endorsements, but he's done a rake in some dough.
Definitely. And, I'm not the biggest golf fan. I'm not really a golf fan, but just having Tiger Woods show up on SportsCenter, winning tournaments, wreaking havoc on the leaderboard throughout the weekend, I mean, it interests everybody. So whether you're a fan of Tiger Woods or not, you really have to respect his game and his abilities on the course.
Yep. So now we're going to college football. As you know, Heisman's is pretty much up for grabs this year. We have Trent Richardson from Alabama, Andrew Luck from Stanford, Robert Griffin III
from Baylor,
and
Tyrann Mathieu from LSU.
And
don't forget Monte Ball from Wisconsin, sleeper pick.
If I were to give the Heisman to someone right now, I would give my vote to Griffin III. Just because he's the more exciting player out of everybody in the Heisman. Everyone has like around the same stats, except for Ball, who has like 38 touchdowns, ridiculous. But I think he's the most exciting. I mean, if you're gonna base it off of stats, I mean, you're gonna give it to Ball. But I mean, his chances of winning are probably slim compared to everybody else's. But I don't know.
I think Monte Ball hasn't got the exposure due to Russell Wilson, quarterback for Wisconsin. If Monte Ball was the highlight of that team, we're looking at him probably taking home the Heisman. But if I'm the Heisman voter, if I had a ballot, but I don't, of course. Thank you, John. I'm giving it to Tyrann Mathieu from LSU, and here's why: the impact that he has around the ball, week in and week out. He sets the table for LSU. Okay, he returns punts, yeah, okay, but he also, every time you see a turnover that LSU forces, Tyrann Mathieu is near that play and around the play. Like you said with Robert Griffin, he creates excitement. So does Mathieu, and Mathieu makes plays.
And he also is a weed smoker, which is why he got suspended earlier this year, which the Heisman committee is not very fond of. That's a frowny face in their book.
And that's what will probably hurt him. I mean, they don't want to deal with other incidents like the Reggie Bush incident. They don't want to deal with all the negative publicity. So,
but you're saying if you had to vote, that's who you vote.
Yeah, if I had to vote, and I'm not a weed smoker, okay, guys. I'm just saying that Tyrann Mathieu makes plays. He's all over the grass. I mean, he's all over the field. So I'm giving it to Tyrann Mathieu, with Trent Richardson coming in second.
Interesting.
Yes.
Which brings us to our next part of the show.
National championship.
Alabama, LSU. The first game was exciting. Don't get me, just because it was 9-6 doesn't mean that wasn't exciting. It's a defensive game. Like why would you not be excited about that? But I think this time around it's going to be more exciting with more points. Maybe like a 27-17 type score, something like that.
Shootout.
But if I were to pick a team to win that game, it'd probably be LSU because I think they're more balanced on both sides of the ball.
I have to disagree with you. I don't think that LSU is more balanced, so to say.
They have two
Think
quarterbacks.
just because
They're
you have
legit. They have a good running game. They have an excellent defense.
the quarterbacks aren't that legit. They make enough plays to win the
What's the
game.
quarterback's name for Alabama?
Okay, I have no idea who are the
Who are the
quarterbacks for LSU.
Jared Lee and Jefferson.
Okay, what's his first name? Um, but at the same time, I think LSU is not as balanced as Alabama. However, their defense makes up for their offensive inefficiencies. Like I said, Tyrann Mathieu, their defense is stout. They have a lot of players that impact the game without, putting any dents into the stat sheet. So I think LSU is going to end up winning that game. But one of the main controversies leading up to this championship game is the BCS, of course, and a lot of people begging for Oklahoma State to get a chance to play LSU. And I mean, I can see where people are disappointed that the Cowboys don't face the Tigers. But you have the two best teams, LSU and Alabama, facing off against each other, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Oklahoma State had a great year. Don't get me wrong. Their offense is amazing. They have one of the best receivers, one of the best quarterbacks, prospects. They're probably going to NFL.
29 years old.
So, I mean, with that being said, I mean, their game against Stanford's going to be exciting as well. And I think that's a good matchup for them. And if they're really good, they'll win that game. Who knows? Andrew Luck is a beast. So, I actually think that it's going to be equal in the amount of views for those two games.
And our last point on the BCS is that I honestly hate the BCS. Like, I'm a college basketball fan more than I am a college football fan, and I love the way the tournament is set up in the NCAA hoops side of things. But, with college football, I think there has to be some type of system where you have at least the four best teams facing off against each other at the end of the season, then have a +1 system where the two winners face off in an overall national championship game. Because right now, you're only basing, the championship game off like a point system, and it's not fair.
Yeah. So, but enough of that. Enough of football.
Moving on to more points, talking about the NBA.
The NBA.
And we are back, baby. What's up?
Which is going to be very exciting to start off with all the trade rumors and things like that. Yes, the Mavericks are back. But one of the big moves that we need to make is keeping Tyson Chandler.
And that's going to be very hard. I think that what I've heard from sources is that the Mavericks aren't really offering enough to interest Tyson Chandler in coming back. And that's going to hurt their championship potential for this upcoming season, even though they're going to still have Dirk and Jason Kidd and Jason Terry. The rest of that roster is in flux. If you have a lot of key free agents, Caron Butler, J.J. Barea. So, it's going to be interesting to see how, when the lockout ends officially in the next couple of days, how the Mavericks really move these pieces around.
And other moves like Chris Paul, drawing interest from Boston and New York and things of that nature. He's probably not going to get traded to New York because they don't have any prospects to trade.
He's not going to get traded to Boston because Boston doesn't want to get rid of Rondo. They love him.
But everyone's scared of like what happened with LeBron, that they're not going to get anybody back. So he might end up going somewhere.
And where do you think that Chris Paul might land?
I mean, you have to throw out big cities. I mean, you can throw out maybe the Clippers, maybe could be in play. Maybe the Lakers. They need a point guard because Derek Fisher's getting old. Teams like that. I mean, you might even see like in Orlando to try and keep Dwight Howard in Orlando. So things like that.
If I'm the Lakers, I give away whatever the Hornets want for Chris Paul. You can give away Bynum, or you can give away Paul Gasol. Even though the Hornets are more likely to take Bynum, I would give away Bynum and whoever else they wanted for Chris Paul. Because in the Western Conference, you're not going to compete without a good point guard. Not to say that Derek Fisher is not a serviceable point guard, but you're going to need somebody that can run the show with Kobe for a couple more years, because the triangle offense is out of the door with Mike Brown being the new head coach of the Lakers.
Exactly. I mean, you're giving Kobe a couple more championship runs, and in a way you're building for the future with a great player. So, yeah. And next is Dwight Howard. He could possibly be going to the Lakers for maybe like Lamar Odom, Bynum type deal, or he could go to a team like the Clippers, things like that. Because if the Magic aren't willing to put pieces around him, he's going to leave. And they know that.
Exactly. And I'm not sure where Dwight Howard is going to end up. I mean, you can see him traded from now until the trade deadline, but I think that Dwight Howard will probably end up staying in Orlando for a little bit longer, and then once the season starts to progress and you see those rumors swirling around, you're going to see Orlando and other teams trying to make a deal. So I think Dwight stays as of now.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think at the end of the day, he will be with the Nets. Simple reason because I don't think the Lakers are going to pull the trigger on giving away Bynum, and they're going to flirt with the Magic about that. And I think the Nets are ready and willing right now with 2 first-round picks and Brook Lopez ready to go to get Dwight Howard. And I think they'll be a good fit.
All right, so with the lockout, officially, hopefully will end within the next 48 hours to 72 hours. Give us 3 teams that you think could be a big player before the season starts.
As far as title contenders?
As far as, making the jump to being a pretender to contender.
I'm going to have to go with the Clippers. If they make some moves, the Clippers are going to be a team to look out for. I'm not going to say this team's a pretender, but I think they could legitimately be considered a title contender is the Thunder, because I think this could be their year. And a team out of the East, I'm gonna say people are still thinking that this team is out of it, but I'm gonna say Boston has one more good run in them. You have the veterans and things like that, but Rondo's gonna come out determined. Hopefully he's not pissed off about the trade rumors and things like that, but do not sleep on Boston. And we all know LeBron chokes at the end of the day. I want to see him get a ring, but with the way he plays in the fourth quarter, look for Boston to still be a championship contender.
Okay, and to close it out, I'm gonna give you 3 players that you guys need to keep an eye on during this free agency period. 1, Marc Gasol, Grizzlies center. He's a restricted free agent. If the Grizzlies let him go, he could be a big-time acquisition for any team. Nene from Denver, also a great center. Kind of weak on the defensive area, but he can provide 17 points for you easily down low. And also another player to keep an eye on is Vince Carter. I know he's old, but he can give any team a spark off the bench if you're looking for that role player to give you minutes for a championship contender. So
I signed Allen Iverson before Vince Carter.
But thanks guys for watching us today. This is Nelson. You can follow me on Twitter at NEL_O.
You can follow me as John at ESPN_Cosme. Give my followers up, please. Thank you very much.
Yes, and we appreciate it, and y'all take it easy.